There are many statues of gods and goddesses found all over India. Each one is unique and beautiful in its own way. You may have seen a few of them when you visited India, or perhaps you have only seen them in pictures. There's no way to count how many there are, but there are many. Today, we will talk about some of the most common statues of goddesses that you can find in India, and some that you cannot find easily. So let's start. The first one is Kali. Most people know the goddess Kali and her image. She has 4 arms, dark skin, wears a garland of skulls, and has a third eye on her forehead. This is the ferocious form of the goddess, the Divine Mother, who symbolizes time and change. The statue shows her standing on a lotus, signifying that even death and destruction are part of the natural order, and the cycle of life goes on. If you go to a temple dedicated to Kali, you will see this statue is usually placed in the innermost chamber. To see this symbol of ultimate reality, you must go through many other images of the goddess in less terrifying forms. Why is she shown like this? When we think of Kali, we remember that life and death are part of a cycle and they are equally important. We should not cling too tightly to our lives because they will end anyway. We also should not be afraid of death because it is just another step in the cycle of birth, life, and rebirth. We often make the mistake of wanting to hold on to our lives or wanting to hold on to our loved ones for as long as possible. But Kali reminds us that this is not possible. We cannot stop the cycle of life and death. It is up to us what we do with our lives while we are alive. When we realize this, we can live better lives. The next one is Durga. This is another very popular Hindu goddess. She has 8 arms and rides a lion or a tiger. She is the Divine Mother and the fierce protector of good. Statues of Durga show her defeating evil, usually by killing demons. She is always shown with weapons, such as a sword, a shield, a bow and arrows, and a trident. Sometimes you will also see her with a book, which shows that she is also the goddess of knowledge and wisdom. When we look at this statue, we remember that good always fights against bad. And sometimes we must fight hard to win. We must use our intelligence and skills to defeat evil. The weapons show that we must be prepared to fight, but they also show that we must be peaceful. Only when we have peace inside ourselves can we bring peace to others. That is why Durga is always shown riding a lion or a tiger, because these animals represent courage, strength, and power. Then we come to Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, music, and art. She has 4 arms and usually plays a veena, a traditional Indian instrument. She is often shown sitting on a lotus flower, which represents purity, beauty, and enlightenment. The veena shows that music and poetry are an important part of Indian culture. They are a way to express the beauty of life and the truth of the universe. When we see this statue, we remember that knowledge is very important. We should learn as much as we can and use what we learn to help others. We should also remember that there is beauty all around us and we should try to create beauty in our own lives. Saraswati is usually shown with a white complexion because this color represents purity and light. It also shows that she is the goddess of wisdom and knowledge. Next, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity. She has 4 arms and carries a lotus flower, a conch shell, a mace, and a pot of plenty. She is often shown sitting on a lotus flower or a throne, which represents her ability to bring prosperity and abundance into our lives. She is usually shown with a bright complexion because this color represents gold and precious metals. It also shows that she is the goddess of wealth and prosperity. When we see this statue, we remember that wealth is more than just money. It also includes health, happiness, and peace of mind. We should always try to improve our lives and the lives of those around us. We should also remember that we are very lucky to live in India, because here we believe that Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, is everywhere. Lastly, we come to the Parvati, who is also known as Gauri. She is the Divine Mother, the consort of Shiva, and the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility. She has 2 arms and is usually shown holding a flower or a lotus bud. She is often shown sitting in a meditative pose, which represents her deep connection to the divine. She is usually shown with a white or red complexion because these colors represent purity, love, and courage. When we see this statue, we remember that love is the most important thing in life. We should always try to be kind and compassionate to everyone around us. We should also remember that we are all connected to each other and to the divine. So these are just a few of the most common statues of goddesses that you can find in India. There are many others that are just as beautiful and important. I hope you enjoyed learning about them. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world.